Hello everyone! Today I'm going to show you how to stack cushions up to every possible height without any really ugly end rods or anything sticking out. Now let me tell you that when you get to the larger numbers, things actually do get to be a little bit complicated. Alright, so how does cushion stacking work? So you can place cushions on top of blocks of any height, but without support, they will break. Now the solution is to simply place a block that intersects with the cushion itself beneath, and then it will not break. And then you can place another cushion beneath it. But as I said before, this is hideous. So my whole technique involves using items that are smaller than the total number of cushions you want to stack. And we're going to go over this in more depth for each level of cushions. Now, let's start with 2 cushions. Let's start with 2 snow layers. Now, the reason we do this in 2s is because 1 cushion is equal to 2 snow layers. So in order to stack them, we have to do things by 2. So place your second cushion on top, and then take one of these blocks here, whichever one is easiest for you to get, and we are going to very quickly break the snow and place the item. So if you don't place the item quickly, the cushion has a chance of breaking. Now, place your first cushion beneath it, and that's it, you're done. And again, this works because the collision box of whatever support item is inside this cushion, it's not below it, and it's not too tall. See, it's right in the middle. 3 cushions. You are going to need everything on the left side of my inventory, or whichever cushions you're using, and then either a mob head or any of these blocks here. But I recommend the mob head because the other ones are light sources, and they also have to have a block beneath them, and that's just going to make it really complicated when you need to, if you are going higher than 3. And also the light sources will melt snow layers, so if you are doing a lot of stacks of cushions next to each other, you could run into issues with the snow breaking and all of your work being lost, which is why I recommend using a mob head. Alright, so this one's a little bit more complicated. So we need to start by placing a lightning rod, or basically any similar block, just something that is not completely flush with the edge there so that you can place things against it. So we're going to start with 2 snow layers and then the second cushion, and then use the support block to place the next 2 snow layers, and then you need to shift click to place the third cushion on top, and then again we are going to very quickly place, oh no. Yeah, see, that's what happens when you don't place it fast enough, but since the creeper head is flush with the top of the block, we can just place a cushion on top like that, and then another cushion beneath. 4 cushions. So you are going to need everything in my inventory, and then also one of these blocks in this line here. So the reason is all of these blocks intersect with a 4 high cushion, but do not exceed it. But there are drawbacks with all of them. So the natural blocks can only be placed on, certain other blocks, whereas the chest can be placed on anything and can also float, which the natural blocks cannot. So if you are placing your 4 high stack of cushions on top of another stack of cushions, then you're going to have to use the chest. That is not optional. As long as you don't want like the top to show. If you're going to continue stacking items, you can just use a lightning rod or anything else that is similar. And you also can't use the natural blocks if you're putting this on like your house floor or something where any of these can't be placed, but you get the idea. Oh, except for corals. So corals can be placed on top of stone or pretty much anything as far as I know. So if you're not building on top of anything else, you can use coral if you want to. The downside with chests is they cause lag, and I don't know if you can tell by my frame rates while I'm walking around. This is a brand new world and my frame rates are abysmal. So if you can avoid using a chest and if you can use, coral instead, I recommend that. Alright, so support block, and then first 2 snow layers, and then second cushion, and then next 2 snow layers, and then shift and third cushion, and then final snow layers and final cushion. And we are going to very quickly break in place And yes, that worked this time. Okay, so we place the final bottom cushion. 5 layers. So for this one, you just repeat the process that we used for the 4 layers. Now, there's a couple ways of doing this from here. So you can place your 5th cushion on the top and then break and place an end rod, or you can just break in place when it is only 3, and then you can actually place your final cushion on the top, just like that, and then the first cushion on the bottom, like so, and that saves you a little bit of extra work. 6 cushions. So here's the part where we learn the technique that allows us to start building taller and taller. So it's the same old up to a certain point. So at this point here, you're going to add a second support block, and instead of placing the 5th cushion, you're going to add 2 additional snow layers, and then the final cushion on top, if I can reach it. So this just kind of repeats the same technique that we used with the first set of 2 cushions, where you need those 2 empty snow layers first. And so what we're going to do here is quickly break in place, and then, okay, cool, that worked. Now, just to show you, and don't actually do this, so if you break the snow and then place your rod, you can't actually place your 5th cushion on top of another cushion. So don't do that. You need to be sure to place your cushion on top of snow layers. Okay, and now we can actually break in place, and that worked out perfectly cool. And then the final cushion, like so. Alright, placing 7 cushions is the absolute worst, so just bear with me. Okay, so we do the standard snow layers, gonna build up to 4 high. Okay, so this is the really complicated part, or the really important part, so you need to very quickly break in place, and it worked! It didn't break. Okay, amazing. Alright, so now we have to place the block that goes here, and I think that should be blue. Yeah. Okay, important to remember. Okay, and then we can do the break and place the end rod and just hope it works. Okay, amazing. Alright, that wasn't so bad. I realized I got the color order wrong, so I fixed it. So doing 7 high took me forever to figure out, because you can use lanterns to support 3 cushions on the ground. But because lanterns break on top of, if they don't have support, it took me a while to figure out what to use, and it turns out that mob heads are the only option. Also, lanterns will melt snow blocks within, a certain amount of distance close by, so if you're doing a lot of cushion stacking in the same proximity, I would just not recommend using lanterns or torches or redstone torches, because those also work for 3 high, but just if you have mob heads, just use those. So the technique for a very tall stack of cushions is as follows. Just make sure that on top of every 4 sets of snow layers, you do an empty set of snow that you can replace later. Also, once you get to the top, just make sure that you remove snow layers from the top to the bottom, and be sure to place your supports very quickly. So if you want to add units of, 2, 3, or 4, on top of a big stack, just use the same technique that we use to stack these on the ground. Alright, thanks for watching my video, goodbye!